I think I have everything set up. I think so. Hello and welcome everyone to another stream. My name is Addagro. I will be doing a stream about making a hip hop beat. If you guys have tuned in before, you know that I usually tend to start this kind of like as an open within with nothing really running on the soft synths or anything. So essentially like a blank slate. Um, and today, I don't know what kind of vibe I'm going for yet, but I kind of was feeling a little bit kind of more into like the 80s and just listen to a lot of 80s music and just some stuff that just it's with a lot of pads and to kind of feel a little bit more airy. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna get on today and just see what we can do, and hopefully you guys enjoy the show. I will try to have my stuff open here so you guys can talk to me and whatnot. Um, and hopefully you guys either learn something or get something out of it. I will be using Reason 11 as my DAW, and for the most of the instruments that I will be using are actually going to be the built-in stuff that comes with Reason 11. So if you just recently purchased Reason or are just getting started and using Reason or just trying it out, then this is a good place to start. Uh, Also, because I have not been streaming for a while, so I do apologize for that. Happy, I hope you guys enjoyed the holidays. Happy New Year to everyone. We're on 2020, so that's kind of exciting. um, so yeah, let's get this started. Let me just send out a quick message to. Do, 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 do. Alrighty, so let's get the show on the road. So I've kind of already preloaded a pad that I kind of been that has sort of like the 80s vibe to it. So here I'm using an instrument called Pulse from Pulse PWM synth from Skyrock plugins. And this is kind of a plugin you can get on the Reason App Store. So uh, Let me just select there. Ugh, I hate it when it does this. All right, give me a second. I just need to restart my device here. Volume my headphones. There it is. So let's write those in. I actually kind of like the way that sounded already. Running at 98 BPM. So let's see here. That's all right. So let's see. To write in a quick pattern here for the drums. And I'm using Kong as the drum machine for reason. So I'm just gonna go with like a simple boom bam type of thing. A little fast actually. Maybe half time it. Let's see. I kind of want to go with a different set of drums actually, so I will make that change here in a second. All right, so let's go ahead and write these in. So it's probably going to be an entirety. That's probably going to be just one whole note. Actually, two whole notes. add some more release to that. Let's see. Would be is that right? No, it's not. No. Let's change that. I think it needs to go up. Let's see. No. Maybe if I go higher in registry. No. Let's give this a bit more growl, a little bit. Just let's work with this sound a bit more. Let's solo it. It's a little bright, so let's turn it down. Let's filter some of the high end on it. What if I bring it down to C? It's too low. Let me raise it up. What if I move this to a different one instead? So the way that this one's going now, because this would be an A minor, or I'm sorry, is it? It's B flat major. So let's do go there and see, go down to here, and then maybe to here. Maybe lower this. That's about as good as it can get, actually. So, oops. Let's All right, so what I've been doing so far is that I've actually just been added a couple of more oscillators to this synth. And so what I've went ahead and added was I added a sub oscillator that's a sine wave, and like so you can hear it. It's just kind of like it's kind of so you can see like hear the sub frequency on just this one. So that just kind of adds a bit more to the low end. So yeah, I just added one. So the main oscillator is a square wave that I've added some unison to it, and just a tiny bit of spread, so it's not a whole lot. And let me do this way so you can see better. And so yeah, what I've done is that I added so this is just a basic pulse width wave, which is essentially just a square wave the way I have it set up, with a little bit of unison, so it's just detuned slightly, going through a filter that has the cutoff sort of at around like 800 hertz, and then I'm adding the sub oscillator, which is a sine wave, that also has unison, but this one's a bit more spread out, and it just kind of adds a bit more, just like I said, more oomph to the bottom end. It just kind of fills it more, and what I like to do too is just kind of fill it with a lot more, just give it the low end to this, and this will essentially be my baseline for the track. And then I've added another pulse width wave that's an octave lower than the first one, and this is adding a lot of grit to the lower end, so just adding more of the growl. And this, I have it set up to where the LFO, this LFO number 2, is modulating the pulse width. So that's where you see like the back and forth and back and forth. And it just adds kind of like, because of the way it works, it's just making the it's distorting the waveform, and so that's how you get like that weird sound from just this one alone. And then if you layer both of them, all three oscillators, you can just get like this really deep and full low end bass, but you can still hear, like you can hear the high registry, and like depending on how open you want to have like the low end be, I actually kind of like it a little bit more with a little bit more filter opened than I was earlier. So this is now at around almost 1,000 hertz, so 1 kilohertz. And then in doing so, you just kind of add it's adding a bit more richness to also to the higher end, so that if you were to play this on lower end speakers or smaller speakers, you'd still be able to hear the bass line go through instead of just the low end being completely filled, or if you not being able to listen to the high end at all, or the bass on smaller devices like phones and like laptop speakers and whatnot, and you would lose that information. So in order to add that information back, I'm just opening up the filter just a little bit more, and then add it to the rest of the stuff. I'm gonna be doing a side chaining on this, so that way the kick drum and the bass don't interfere with each other. And it's just to clean up, but I'll do that later in the mix. But for now, this is just kind of like composing it, and as if you saw, like the pattern that I have for the drum is not complicated at all. Just a couple hi-hats, just a couple snares, and really only one kick drum coming in. But this is due to change later. This is just kind of to get the process started, and a lot of it was driving it is just the pulse with this pad that I have going on in the background. So maybe what I'll do right now is actually add a little ARP to it, just because um, just to give it a bit more something to swing by. And maybe I'll have it follow the pattern of the hi-hat, where it's just four quick notes and then silence. And I think I'll make this out of a sawtooth wave. Sawtooth wave. So I'm gonna bring the attack all the way down. The release, I'm gonna keep it at around 500 milliseconds. I'm gonna take the sustain all the way down. I'm gonna take the decay to be to 1 second, around 1 second. All right, and so then now here, if we play this, it's just a simple pluck. Gonna add some unison to that. All right, and so this is gonna be arpeggiated. So let me also add a triangle wave to this. And essentially why I'm adding the triangle wave is just to give it, I'll kind of want to have this on a higher octave, maybe. I'll see, or maybe on a fifth. So let's see here. Maybe also add a sine wave to it, just to make it a bit more full. And then filter all of it. And then what I'll have it be, I'll have the envelope open up the filter. So it sounds more of a pluck. Okay, so so I think that's it for now. Maybe add a bit more release to that, so maybe have it be 700 milliseconds. Maybe have the filter open just a slightly longer time. Okay, I'm getting a little carried away there. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually gonna copy this this MIDI file that I have going for the pads. I'm gonna copy it over to to this arpeggiator here, which I now need to add the arpeggiation, which would be this here, and this is kind of built into Reason as well. And I'm gonna have 4 notes, so I'm gonna have 1, 2, and 3 and 4. Let's see. Oops. What happened to my thing? Oh, I pressed B. I don't think that's going at the same. Thank you. Welcome to the stream. Let's see here. Seems like that melody's out of place though. Let me... I could probably use this for a hook. Yeah, this bass line doesn't fit it no more. Let's see here. Because that one's going... it's early then. Yeah, that's better, much better baseline. Ouch, 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 ouch. All right, let's write that in there. So apparently I can't count. So okay, so it is an 8. All right. I want to add something else to it. Maybe I'll add a flute. Let's see. That's what we got for. This will be under reeds, I think. Reed pipe. Flute. Not a pen flute. Flute ensemble. What's this? Ooh, I kind of like that. Let me actually, I'm gonna raise that a couple octaves though. We'll lower that in the mix. Add a lot of reverb. All right, this needs something more now. What can we add to this that would complement that flute pretty well? I think I have an idea. What about a music box? This is gonna be a little strange. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and add a. I'm gonna have it be maybe open chords. Yeah. Maybe 7 chords. Yeah. Yes. And I'm gonna have that be arpeggiated. And I'm also have it be. I'm curious. I'm very curious. All right, so let's lower this in the mix because this is gonna be kind of loud, and I'm gonna copy the same one over. Maybe drop it down. Yeah, I'm gonna drop it down an octave. Maybe drop it one more octave. All right. Let me try that. I might not like it, but I'm gonna try it anyways. Entire. Hmm. Uh. Okay, so I think that's the basis for the song now. What I'm gonna go ahead and do is actually just restructure it so that way it can be kind of more interesting than what it is right now. So let me just join these clips because this is going to be treated as an eighth, an eighth, and an eighth. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do, actually, I also gotta export the drum pattern. Okay, see. All right, so this is going to be definitely for the hook, so I'll put this over here for now. Intro, it's probably going to be this, the pad, and I think that's it. Yeah, for now. All right, so for the verse, I'm probably gonna do. This is not gonna be here. This is gonna be a second side. All right, so let's get this fixed because okay, because I don't like working in this way. So let's first do this and let's hit fix, apply it all, and yes, perfect. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna copy these. I should just move this over so it can be easier for me. And what I'm doing right now is just splitting up the MIDI files into their own respective tracks, because I don't like having them be in the same track, because sometimes I like adding or subtracting from the drum pattern in this case. So here we have our basic beat. Let me just go back. And I actually want to add some variation to that because it's a little empty. So let me go into here, maybe go into here. So that's for one. That's gonna be at the end. So I'm gonna have one for that's way too far out. It was supposed to be under 5. So let me put that back and just move it over here. And that's my midway point. So I kind of want to add some variation to here. So maybe add one there, but let's zoom it in because I want to have it right there. Okay, so that's gonna be the pattern for this, and gonna copy that over to here. Move this over. Uh, let's see here. I feel like there's more that can be added to this. I feel like there's definitely something more or something that I can take away. Well, let's go in there and just add a couple snare rolls. Maybe for the hook, we'll add a variation on the hi-hats as well. Maybe have them be full-on hi-hats. Maybe. Guess we'll see in a second. And oh, wait a minute. Okay, that's right. I should have taken out my wallet a while ago. That hurts. All right, let's change the color on this just so I can differentiate it between the verse and the hook. because I don't want those to be the same. Keep pressing the wrong button. Keep double clicking it. So yeah, let's see about doing that. And essentially all I've done is that I've added a couple snare rolls. For the hi-hats, I'm thinking I should do this. Maybe actually add an open hat. Ooh, I don't know how that'll work. Let's give it a try, I guess. I mean, no harm in doing that. So let's essentially gonna and then do it. I mean, this is gonna sound way different. Let's see. Ignore the volume. What? What'd you forget? I forgot my hamster. Yeah, you did. You forgot your little hamster. And you forgot your sweater. You forgot your glasses too. You need glasses. Sweater. Bye. Bye, Elizabeth. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's see here. So I think for the most part that's kind of done. Don't know what I'm gonna call it yet, but I think that's it for now. I mean, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let's see how long I've been streaming for about an hour and 30 minutes. Um, so yeah, so hopefully you guys learned a couple things. In terms of what I was doing right now, I was just kind of going into the maximizer, adding a little bit more, just to give it a bit more, just to make the track a little bit louder in general, and to just cut off some of the higher frequent, like some of the more aggressive, uh, like the low end and stuff like that, just to kind of normalize it to the rest of the mix. Um, and this is all going as like the outside, so this is the final step before going out to the main speakers. And then in terms of effects and stuff like that, I just added a couple of reverbs to a couple of the tracks here. So pretty much anything that has a one here, I have as an effect send, and it's going into the reverb here, which is essentially just a basic reverb, and it's just adding just a little bit more openness and like air to the track. There's a couple of tracks that do have a delay, and it's going to this delay here. And this delay is just every 3/16 of a note is repeating. It's just doing a delay, and it's very like kind of like preset that's in the application called the Echo, which is essentially built into Reason 11. Um, and as far as anything else goes, I mean, most of this stuff is not actually not being used in terms of like the effects. Like the only other thing that's being used is the steer pike delay, which is a delay that I have set up as with 3/16 and 5/16. So it will 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 repeat once at 3/16 and repeat again on the 5/16, and also will do a pan effect, so it'll go left and right, left and right. So that's like a ping pong effect, and that's kind of what I have set up for the hi hats. And as far as anything else goes, like I only added a compressor to the a side chain from the kick drum, which is channel 1 here, and the bass drum. Want to become famous by followers, perhaps. Nah, dude, I'm okay. I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Thanks for the offer, though. And as far as what I've been doing, just kind of just like added a compressor so they can sidechain, so that way when the kick comes in, it lowers the volume of the bass just a tiny bit. And I'm pretty sure, like, if you look back on it, you just saw me and it just was showing the effect ever so slightly. Sorry, I haven't really been talking. It's just kind of a matter of the practice for it. I've been, like I said, I've been kind of away for the last couple weeks and haven't really been streaming. But as far as anything else goes, anything that I might not have explained, so I added a music box that's also being arpeggiated through this dual arpeggiator, and it's just going up a couple notes. And also I have this scales and chords. This is all pre-installed into Reason 11. Um, and all it's doing is I have it on a B major scale, which is the scale that I'm working with today. And every time a key is being pressed or a note is being played, it'll play this chord progression in on the first inversion, and we'll also add the octave up and octave down. And the way that I have it set up is that I have it set up in open chords as well, so it's just spanning the notes a little bit further. And the arpeggiator is arpeggiating all those 5 notes, and then repeating every pretty much every eighth note is repeating again. Um, well, no, every 8 notes is repeating. That's what I meant to say. In the same way with this the second arpeggiator, which is repeating every 8 notes, but it's running at a slower rate than the first one, so it just adds a little bit more notes to it, and that's how you get like just a bit more movement onto the track. And then I added a lead, which is just like a sawtooth lead. That's all that I'm doing, using that for the hook, and it's not really something major. It's just something that to add a bit more flavor. And also, if you heard, I added a choir to the hook as well, which is just this Humana sound instrument, which is also pre-installed into Reason. The only instruments that are not pre-installed into Reason are this one called Antidote and this one called Pulse PWM Synth. This one is but both of them you can get from the Reason shop. Um, I actually got these because of the subscription that I have with them. So if you pay the subscription and whatever, you can get a certain amount of instruments per month, and that's the ones that I chose to have. And as far as everything else goes, I mean, like I said, most of them are just kind of pre-installed, and also these 3 effects, are not pre-installed. Those come with the subscription. And that's pretty much it, really. Not really much going on in terms of the track. I only have I want to say like a few instruments going on. So I have the drums, I have the tambourines, which I did add afterwards. That you probably didn't see, and the bass, the sort of plucky, the pluck synth. That's also, and then this the music box, which is also plucky. And the flute, which is also a preset in Reason, which is just called Flute Ensemble. And just the bass. Ended up changing it from the original one from when I started because this one fits the motif a bit better. Since it's not like a super fast song, or it's not like super movie, like it's not moving a whole lot. It didn't make sense to have like one that's just kind of stabby. And so then, like, the only one that's kind of stabby, it's like the other lead synth. But again, that's just to add a little bit more flavor to it. It's not really there to be kind of a standalone or like the mainstay of the piece. It's just kind of there when in the hook, so that way it can be different from everything else. I might even lower it in the mix a little bit more, and I still have to EQ the rest of the track. I haven't really EQ'd any of it. But I'll probably end up getting to that a little bit later. And then, like I said, I have the choir, which is just a simple, it's following the same notes as the pad. Wrong one. And for the final step, really, I'm just gonna automate a couple of volume knobs. And this one is gonna be like the main volume knob. And I'm just gonna have it start off a little bit, not like super low, but like kind of low, like less than half. And I'm gonna have it go up to full volume once it gets to once the intro's done, and do the same thing at the end where it will go from full volume down to nil. So there you go. And so then that's kind of like the basic volume automation that I was gonna do. I might do some more automation just for this part, just because I want to maybe add the choir come in a little bit later. Maybe not have the kick drum. And for the verses, like I said, I keep it pretty simple, just so that I can leave room for the vocals. And a little bit more movement for the hook. And then here I introduce the tambourine. So it's slightly different from the first verse, so you can differentiate between the two. And then here's our bridge, or break in the track. And here I just added like the subtle parts of the track, just so that's not too loud. And immediately go back into the hook. And essentially, this is the end of the song already. So this would be like the outro, essentially. I usually like having the hook repeat a couple times, and then just fade out. And yeah, that's pretty much it as far as it goes. That's the rest of the track. Let me call it something. What does this remind me of? Called Trolley Dreams. No. Trolley Train. Call it. What is this? Ready for vocals, and there we go. Alright, so this track is being saved now. I'm gonna export it as well. Oh, not export to MIDI. It's gonna be export to song as audio file. Got it. Alrighty. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So for about an hour and a half worth of work, I created this track. If you streamed it from the very beginning, then you see that it wasn't, pretty much a blank slate. There's a couple of preloaded instruments, but not any MIDI files or anything of the sort on there. I probably shouldn't be doing this export when I'm still streaming, because then it just tanks my frame rate as I'm watching the stream. That's not great. You live and you learn, I guess. I think it's time to upgrade this computer soon. Maybe I'll add it as a goal at some point. It's almost done, so I mean, I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, so one thing I always like to say, I like leaving in a positive message at the end of it. As soon as this is done, I'll get back to that, because Jesus Christ, my frame rate is like non-existent right now. Hopefully, it doesn't sound like I'm a robot or something. All right, let's see if we're back. Wow, so that's recovered, huh? Yeah, so hasn't recovered. Funny stuff. Um, it'll probably kick in just a second. So yeah, so for about an hour and a half worth of just doing actual work from the beginning to the end, even with a couple interruptions here and there, you can create a pretty decent, a track at least. I don't know if it's pretty sounding or whatever, to each their own, because fortunately, art is subjective, so somebody might like something, some people might not like that. And in order to keep everything moving and everything, one of the things that you got to do is just like experiment and just keep doing it. One of the things that I learned not too long ago was that even if you don't want to do something, or if you're not in the mood to create anything, you should still open up the Air application, and you should still like try to make something, even if it's just like a loop or something, because then that just gets you still in the practice of things. Like, you don't lose the practice, and so then when you actually want to lay something down, or you feel inspired, or you feel like you want to do something in that moment, then you'll be ready. You never want to be have presented with an opportunity and not be ready. Um, so so always practice, 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 practice. Always keep continuing to work on your craft, to like maybe look on YouTube and find some tutorials on how to make a certain sound, or imitate like how to play a certain track, or get inspiration from another track that you like listening to, or from an artist or producer that you like, and try to see what they do, and then pull some from that. um Everything that I've kind of done so far, and that I've played on here, or that I've actually, that I've worked on, it is self-taught. So that means, that anybody can do it. Like, anybody can sit down and just like start jamming on something. You don't need to go to a prestigious music school, or you need to be a music nerd in like in school or whatever. You just have to, want to do it, and then just do it every single time. Like, don't let, you know the fear of failing, or the fear of being rejected or whatever, to stop you from doing what you really want to do. And I think this is kind of like a symptom of most of the creative types. So not just in what's it called, it in music, but like you have your artists, your singers, um your painters, your sculptors, every single person that's in the creative field. They all have something that, like, that's called the creative block. And one of the things you got to do to not be in that, or to not to get stuck on that for too long, is to continue working on your craft, and to continue, pursuing it. Because, the more you work on it, the better you'll get at it. And regardless of whether or not you had some music background or not, or any, background in any of the arts that you want to do, um, just do it. Just if you don't feel like painting, just paint. Or if you don't feel like making music, just make music. If you want to learn how to play an instrument, even if you don't feel like it, just do it. And this is also for like anybody who wants to get like into working out, into like, you know setting creating a habit that you want to do something, and you want to be consistent with it. Discipline is a big factor in all of that. Even if you don't feel like going to the gym, you should still go. Even if you don't feel like not eating a certain food, you should evade it. because if it's better for your health, if it's better for you in the long run, or if you truly want to do it, then you have to kind of discipline yourself in doing that. And this is kind of this whole streaming thing. I'm kind of doing it for that same reason. Like, I want to be able to keep on practicing what and continue working on my craft, my hobby, which is essentially music making here. Um, and the more I work on it, and if I have stream, then I'm kind of forced to think of more something of on the spot, or to be kind of pressured into, like, that I have to finish, or that at least I have to do something, in order to actually stream. Um, so yeah, this is kind of me doing my discipline on, like, to continue working and training, and to keep refining my craft. So yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoyed the show, or hope that you at least learned something. Like I said, if it's not something that you've been doing, or whatever, if you were just starting off, especially in reason, I hope that this helps you in some way. I hope that really you learn something from it, even if you didn't like the track at all, or at least if you're not into music making or whatever. I hope that you at least enjoy the track. um because yeah, life is too short to have to be sour about anything. And my whole thing has always been, like, just be positive. And so, I'm just hoping you guys learn it. And even if you guys don't like it, or don't even like me, you know at least even if you tuned in for a bit, thank you. At least that, and as always, if you want to find me in anything else in social media and whatnot, all the links are in my bio. All the links are in the description and the Twitch title page. You can find me on every single major social media platform, so um, Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, and I also have a SoundCloud. I haven't really been uploading any of my news recent stuff there, but that's kind of more of a symptom of I don't like SoundCloud as much anymore. But that's a whole personal thing that I'm not gonna really bug with. So I'll probably still upload to there, but not anytime soon. Um, and yeah, I mean, if you're interested in listening to more of my stuff, I have a YouTube. It's also there. Links are also in the description and everything. If you're watching this on YouTube, because I will upload it to YouTube. Thank you for tuning in, and I hope you guys still learn something new. And that's pretty much it. And hopefully you guys enjoy. And as always, be excellent to each other. Peace.